Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
To come or go into. The boat entered an area of shallow marshes. Be or play a part of or in. Register formally as a participant or member. Set out on, an enterprise or subject of study. Take on duties or office. Put or introduce into something. Become a participant, be involved in. Enter a race. Make a record of, set down in permanent form. Come on stage. To come or go into. Take a place in a competition, often followed by an ordinal. To insert between other elements. Be received. Come into fashion, become fashionable. To come or go into. Succeed in a big way, get to the top. Secure a place in a college, university, etc. Of trains, move into, a station. To come or go into. Put clothing on one's body. Secure a place in a college, university, etc. Get involved in or with. Familiarize oneself thoroughly with. To come or go into. To come or go into. To come or go into. One of the elements that collectively form a system of numeration. Judge to be probable. Be or play a part of or in. Elections figure prominently in every government program. A diagram or picture illustrating textual material. A decorative or artistic work. The property possessed by a sum or total or indefinite quantity of units or individuals. The figure was about 1,000. A well-known or notable person. She is an important figure in modern music. Alternative names for the body of a human being. Imagine, conceive of, see in one's mind. Language used in a figurative or non-literal sense. Make a mathematical calculation or computation. A combination of points and lines and planes that form a visible palpable shape. A model of a bodily form, especially of a person. He made a figure of Santa Claus. An amount of money expressed numerically. A figure of $17 was suggested. A predetermined set of movements in dancing or skating. She made the best score on compulsory figures. A unitary percept having structure and coherence that is the object of attention and that stands out against a ground. The impression produced by a person. He cut a fine figure. Understand. He didn't figure her. Register formally as a participant or member. Register formally as a participant or member. Mark with one's signature. Register formally as a participant or member. Carve, cut, or etch into a material or surface. Convert ordinary language into code. Address, a work of literature, in a style less formal than a dedication. Draw within a figure so as to touch in as many places as possible. Write, engrave, or print as a lasting record. Cause to assemble or enlist in the military. Recruit new soldiers. Register formally as a participant or member. The party recruited many new members. A recently enlisted soldier. Any new member or supporter, as in the armed forces. Seek to employ. The lab director recruited an able crew of assistants. Proceed somewhere despite the risk of possible dangers. Set out on an enterprise or subject of study. She embarked upon a new career. Go on board. Yield to another's wish or opinion. Take on duties or office. Accede to the throne. To agree or express agreement. Put or introduce into something. An affix that is inserted inside the word. Attach a morpheme into a stem word. Film. A still picture that is introduced and that interrupts the action of a film. Insert casually. Broadcasting. A local announcement inserted into a network program. An artifact that is inserted or is to be inserted. Put or introduce into something. Insert a picture into the text. Fit snugly into. Insert your ticket into the slot. Place, fit, or thrust something into another thing. A folded section placed between the leaves of another publication. Bring something new to an environment. A new word processor was introduced. Bring before the public for the first time, as of an actor, song, etc. Put or introduce into something. Be a precursor of. Furnish with a preface or introduction. Cause to come to know personally. Introduce the new neighbors to the community. Bring in a new person or object into a familiar environment. The new secretary introduced a nasty rumor. Place, fit, or thrust something into another thing. Bring in or establish in a new place or environment. Introduce a rule. Put before a body. Introduce legislation. Become a participant. Be involved in. Share in something. Put down in writing. Of texts, musical compositions, etc. Remove, cargo, people, etc., from and leave. Put an animal to death. The sick cat had to be put down. Put in a horizontal position. Cause to sit or seat or be in a settled position or place. Cause to come to the ground. Reduce in worth or character, usually verbally. She tends to put down younger women colleagues. Make a record of. Set down in permanent form. Register electronically. They recorded her singing. Sound recording consisting of a disc with a continuous groove, used to reproduce music by rotating while a phonograph needle tracks in the groove. Indicate a certain reading of gauges and instruments. A compilation of the known facts regarding something or someone. Al Smith used to say, "Let's look at the record." Be aware of. The sum of recognized accomplishments. The lawyer has a good record. A list of crimes for which an accused person has been previously convicted. He ruled that the criminal record of the defendant could not be disclosed to the court. Make a record of. Set down in permanent form. A document that can serve as legal evidence of a transaction. They could find no record of the purchase. An extreme attainment. The best, or worst, performance ever attested, as in a sport. He tied the Olympic record. Anything, such as a document or a phonograph record or a photograph, providing permanent evidence of or information about past events. The film provided a valuable record of stage techniques. The number of wins versus losses and ties a team has had. At 9-0, they have the best record in their league. Take possession of. Be priced at. Represent, as of a character on stage. Form or compose. These constitute my entire belonging. Be identical or equivalent to. Have life, be alive. A light, strong, brittle gray toxic bivalent metallic element. Have an existence, be extant. Work in a specific place, with a specific subject, or in a specific function. Have the quality of being. Copula, used with an adjective or a predicate noun. Occupy a certain position or area, be somewhere. What is behind this behavior? Spend or use time. I may be an hour. To remain unmolested, undisturbed, or uninterrupted, used only in infinitive form. Let her be. An official written record of names or events or transactions. A cash box with an adding machine to register transactions, used in shops to add up the bill. Indicate a certain reading, of gauges and instruments. Record in a public office or in a court of law. Be aware of. Did you register any change when I pressed the button? Have one's name listed as a candidate for several parties. A book in which names and transactions are listed. An air passage, usually in the floor or a wall of a room, for admitting or excluding heated air from the room. A regulator, as a sliding plate, for regulating the flow of air into a furnace or other heating device. Computer science. Memory device that is the part of computer memory that has a specific address and that is used to hold information of a specific kind. Enroll to vote. Register for an election. Enter into someone's consciousness. Did this event register in your parents' minds? Manipulate the registers of an organ. Music. The timbre that is characteristic of a certain range and manner of production of the human voice or of different pipe organ stops or of different musical instruments. Record in writing. Enter into a book of names or events or transactions. Send by registered mail. I'd like to register this letter. Show in one's face. Her surprise did not register. Put down in writing, of texts, musical compositions, etc. Move something or somebody to a lower position. Take the first step or steps in carrying out an action. Let's get down to work now. Lower someone's spirits, make downhearted. Alight from a horse. Pass through the esophagus as part of eating or drinking. Lower one's body, as by kneeling. Have a beginning, in a temporal, spatial, or evaluative sense. The DMZ begins right over the hill. Set in motion, cause to start. Begin a new chapter in your life. Take the first step or steps in carrying out an action. Begin an event that is implied and limited by the nature or inherent function of the direct object. Begin a cigar. Have a beginning characterized in some specified way. The novel begins with a murder. Israeli statesman, born in Russia, who, as Prime Minister of Israel, negotiated a peace treaty with Anwar Sadat, then the President of Egypt, 1913 to 1992. Achieve or accomplish in the least degree, usually used in the negative. This economic measure doesn't even begin to deal with the problem of inflation. Begin to speak or say. Begin to speak, understand, read, and write a language. Be the first item or point, constitute the beginning or start, come first in a series. The number 1 begins the sequence. Have a beginning, of a temporal event. The company's Asia tour begins next month. Get off the ground. Set in motion, cause to start. Take the first step or steps in carrying out an action. Reach with a blow or hit in a particular spot. Come to have or undergo a change of physical features and attributes. Leave immediately. Used usually in the imperative form. Perceive by hearing. She didn't get his name when they met the first time. Undergo, as of injuries and illnesses. Make, offspring, by reproduction. Give certain properties to something. Get someone mad. Be a mystery or bewildering to. Suffer from the receipt of. Receive as a retribution or punishment. Take vengeance on or get even. We'll get them. Achieve a point or goal. Move into a desired direction of discourse. Go through, mental or physical states or experiences. Get an idea. Irritate. Her childish behavior really get to me. Take the first step or steps in carrying out an action. Let's get down to work now. Succeed in catching or seizing, especially after a chase. Apprehend and reproduce accurately. Enter or assume a certain state or condition. It must be getting more serious. Attract and fix. Receive a specified treatment, abstract. Earn or achieve a base by being walked by the pitcher. Be stricken by an illness, fall victim to an illness. Cause to move. Cause to be in a certain position or condition. Come into the possession of something concrete or abstract. Cause to do. Cause to act in a specified manner. Reach a destination. Arrive by movement or progress. She didn't get to Chicago until after midnight. Go or come after and bring or take back. Grasp with the mind or develop an understanding of. Did you get it? Acquire as a result of some effort or action. You cannot get water out of a stone. A return on a shot that seemed impossible to reach and would normally have resulted in a point for the opponent. Communicate with a place or person. establish communication with, as if by telephone. The operator couldn't get Kobe because of the earthquake. Evoke an emotional response. Brahms's Requiem gets me every time. Overcome or destroy. Purchase. What did you get at the toy store? Reach and board. Reach by calculation. What do you get when you add up these numbers? Take the first step or steps in carrying out an action. Begin to deal with. Enter upon an activity or enterprise. Take the first step or steps in carrying out an action. Leave. Lay out orderly or logically in a line or as if in a line. Get off the ground. Who started this company? Bulge outward. The time at which something is supposed to begin. They got an early start. Begin work or acting in a certain capacity, office or job. Start a new job. Get going or set in motion. We simply could not start the engine. A line indicating the location of the start of a race or a game. Have a beginning, in a temporal, spatial, or evaluative sense. Prices for these homes start at $250,000. A signal to begin, as in a race. The starting signal was a green light. Bring into being. A turn to be a starter, in a game at the beginning. He got his start because one of the regular pitchers was in the hospital. Set in motion, cause to start. The U.S. started a war in the Middle East. Take the first step or steps in carrying out an action. Who will start? Begin an event that is implied and limited by the nature or inherent function of the direct object. She started the soup while it was still hot. A sudden involuntary movement. He awoke with a start. Begin or set in motion. I start at 8 in the morning. Have a beginning characterized in some specified way. Leave. Move or jump suddenly, as if in surprise or alarm. She startled when I walked into the room. The advantage gained by beginning early, as in a race. With an hour's start he will be hard to catch. The act of starting something. Play in the starting lineup. The beginning of anything. It was off to a good start. Take the first step or steps in carrying out an action. Leave.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.